So hello and welcome to the Sarat Chandra IAS Academy, where your dreams are our mission. This is Yatharth here. In the last two videos, we have already figured out two things. Already reached two part of this series. In the first part, we saw about the parliament, the parts of parliament, the president and two houses. We saw about their strength. We saw about various different type of majorities. And also we saw about Article 368 and few other articles which have the capacity to amend the constitution. We saw the provisions related to these articles, that when and how a bill can be introduced, by whom, and when it's deemed to be passed. In the second video, we saw the Constitutional Amendment Acts from 1st of 1951 to the 44th Amendment Act of 1978. So this was a different era. Now we move on to the next era, which starts from around 1984. So 50th Amendment Act of 1984. We move on to this. If you have had no time to, let's say, watch the previous videos, you can just go and read about 42nd as well as 44th. And some other important amendment acts started basically after 35th and so on. I'll still give you a list PDF, which I'll upload on Telegram on the Sarat Chandra IAS Academy channel. So you can see that here. All right. So let's move to the 50th Amendment Act of 1984. So what did this act do? This empowered the parliament to restrict the fundamental right of person employed in intelligence organizations, telecommunication systems set up for the armed forces or intelligence organizations. So not very important. All right, just to give you an idea to begin with. Okay, 52nd Act of 1985. So this was very important. It was made to do the stop defection politics, anti-defection law. All right, so provided for disqualification of member of parliament and state legislatures on the ground of defection, and added one new 10th schedule. Okay, containing the details in this regard. So 52nd Constitutional Amendment Act was about anti-defection law. Please remember this. You can just add in memory as per this article also related to the president. The article, not the CAA. Okay, please remember. This came in 1985. Okay. The next one is 58th Amendment Act of 1987. 58th of 1987. So it provided for an authoritative text of the constitution in the Hindi language and gave the same legal sanctity to the Hindi version of the constitution. So this was about Hindi version of the constitution. 58th. Okay, let's move on to the 61st. This came in 1989. So it reduced the voting age from 21 years to 18 years. 21 years to 18 years. This one is important. Please highlight. To the Lok Sabha and SLA. All right. Next one is 65th. It came in 1990. So this was era of nationalization and all. So we'll move on to there slowly. So it provided for the establishment of multi-member National Commission for SC and ST. So NCSC and NCST. This was in 1990s. All right. This is also very important. Please remember this. Let's move on to the next one. So the next amendment was 69th Amendment of 1991. And it was related to the Union Territory of Delhi. So it was designated as NCT, National Capital Territory of Delhi. It also provided for creation of 70-member Legislative Assembly and 7-member Council of Minister for Delhi. So 69th is related to Delhi basically. All right, let's move on to the next one. The 71st Amendment Act of 1992. Okay, so it included Konkani, Manipuri and Nepali language in the 8th schedule. So a better way to remember, earlier also we saw the Sindhi being added to the 8th schedule. So you can group these ones together. All right. So this was 71st Amendment Act of 1992. So total number of scheduled language increased to 18 with the 2 languages, Konkani. Sorry, 3 languages, Konkani, Manipuri and Nepali. I'll post a quiz also on the channel today related to this. Okay. So let's move on to the next ones. The 73rd Amendment Act of 1992. 73rd of 1992. So this amendment granted constitutional status and protection to the Panchayati Raj institutions. This is very important one and is often asked. All right. So constitutional status to Panchayati Raj institutions. So please remember this. It also added a new part, that is part 9th, entitled as the Panchayats, and a new 11th schedule containing 29 functional items of the Panchayat. So please remember this 73rd. It's very, very important along with the major ones. Do not forget about this. And it was in 1992. Okay, let's come to the 74th now. This was also enacted in 1992, the same year as 73rd. Just a second. Okay. So it granted constitutional status and protection to urban local bodies, that is ULB. All right. And this also added a new part, 9th A. This also added a new schedule, 12th schedule. This part is known as the municipalities. So please remember these both, 73rd and 74th. This deals with the panchayats. This deals with the municipalities. When I give you the table, it will contain these all. So please do not panic about losing out on any data or any important information. Just understand here. You will have the notes. Okay, 77th. Okay, this came in 1995, 3 years later. So this provided for reservation and promotion in government jobs for ST and SC. Reservation in promotion. Okay. So again, one uplifting measure for SC ST. Okay. Next came 80th Amendment Act CA of 2000. All right. So this provided for an alternative scheme of devolution of revenue between center and states. So tax devolution. This also came in prelims. 15th Finance Commission question. Okay, so please remember all this. 80th CA in 2000 about tax devolution. Okay. 81st Amendment Act. 81st Amendment Act of same year 2000. It empowered the state to consider the unfilled reserved vacancies of a year as a separate class of vacancies to be filled up in any succeeding year or years. So this is not very important. So such class of vacancies not to be combined with the vacancies of the year in which they are being filled up to determine the ceiling of 50% reservation on total number of vacancies of that year. In brief, this amendment ended the 50% ceiling on reservation in backlog vacancies. This is not very, very important. Just remember this as some reservation CA. 82nd Amendment Act of 2000. 82nd of 2000. So it provided for making of any provision in favor of the SC and STs for relaxation in qualifying marks in any exam or lowering the standard of evaluation for reservation in matter of promotion to the public service of the center and the states. So again, it is about SC and ST. All right. Now let's move to the 84th of 2001. So extended the ban on readjustment of seats in the Lok Sabha and the SLA for another 25 years up to 2026. That means, all right. So there will be no readjustment on the seats between this period. This is about the 2001. Okay, it was based on the census. All right. It was based on 1991 census. Then 85th Amendment Act of 2001. So provided for consequential seniority in the case of promotion by virtue of reservation for government servants belonging to the SC and ST. Okay, so again it was about SC ST promotion. The next one is very important, which also came in the question, the 86th. This came in 2002. It made elementary education a fundamental right in the Article 21A. Okay, this you remember, right to education. 86th Amendment Act 2002. It changed the subject matter of Article 45 in DPSP and added a new fundamental duty under Article 51A. It was related to education only. All right. Next one is, just a second. Okay, next one is the 87th Amendment Act of 2003. 87th of 2003. So this provided for readjustment and rationalization of territorial constituencies in a state on basis of population figures. All right, so not very important. Let's move on to the 89th. It came out in 2003, same year. So bifurcation of erstwhile combined NCST and NCSC and NCST. So bifurcation was done. All right, these are under Article 338 and 338A. Please remember these. The more important one, next one, just a second, is 91st Amendment of 2003. So it made many things, many changes. So made the following provisions to limit the size of councils and minister and debar defectors. Anti-defection law is not this one. All right, no, it is not this one. Please remember, it was different. I'll provide you the table and notes. So in there you can see all these important ones. Okay, I'll highlight in red also. So this is not, this was a very big amendment. It made some provision for anti-defection, but it was not the original anti-defection law. Okay. Let's see about the 92nd Amendment Act of 2003. So what things did it do? Okay, included 4 more languages in the 8th schedule. Again, 8th schedule has come. There have been 3 additions. One we saw first Sindhi. Then we saw Manipuri, Konkani, Nepali. Then now we saw Bodo, Dongri, Maithili, and Santhali. So please remember which languages are these. Okay. 93rd Act of 2005. So it empowered the state to make special provisions for the socially and educationally backward classes or the SC and ST in educational institute, including private educational institute. All right. So it was similar to the first amendment, the 93rd one. Okay. Let's come to the 96th now of 2011. So it substituted Odia for Oriya. Consequently, the Oriya language in the 8th schedule will be pronounced as Odia, because it is coming from Odisha and there is no Oriya, etc. Alright, so not very important, but you can just remember. Okay, 97th of 2011. It is related to cooperative societies. So it gave constitutional status and protection to cooperative societies. It made the following three changes in the constitution. Made the right to form cooperative societies a fundamental right under Article 19. Alright, it included a new DPSP on promotion of cooperative societies, and it added a new 9th B in the constitution, which is entitled the cooperative society. So 9th A and 9th B, Panchayat, municipalities and cooperative societies. Okay. So the earlier one were 73rd. Now we are going on the 97th. 99th, let's see, of 2014. Important one. So replace the collegium system of appointing judges to the Supreme Court and High Court with a new body known as NJAC. So this was nullified later. So in 2015, the Supreme Court declared this amendment unconstitutional. Alright, so 99th was nullified. Please remember this one. Again, important one coming. 100th Constitutional Amendment Act of 2014. So giving effect the acquiring of certain territories by India and transfer to certain region to Bangladesh. Alright, in a land boundary agreement of 1974 and protocol of 2011. So India-Bangladesh territory exchange was this 100th. 101 is again very important, the most important one. It came in 2017. It introduced the GST, the goods and service tax. It's an indirect tax or consumption tax used in India on supply of goods and services. Alright. The next one is 102nd. It came in 2018. So constitutional status was provided to National Commission now for Backward Classes under India's Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. So 338, we already saw SC and ST, NCSC and NCST. So 338A was already there. So 338B was added for the backward classes through the Amendment Act of 102nd. Now let's come for the 103rd Amendment Act of 2019. So it introduced reservations for EWS, economically weaker section, and amendment was done in Article 16, equal opportunity for employment, allowing a 10% reservation to EWS in public employment. Further, there are two small amendments which are not of much use. 104th of 2020. So it extended the reservation of seats for SC and ST in the Lok Sabha and State Assembly from 70 years to 80 years, and removed the reserve seat for Anglo-Indian community in the Lok Sabha and State Assembly by not extending it further. So not very important. 105th, it is again related to Article 338B, OBC 348, 342A and 366. So to restore the power of state government to identify OBC. Latest one, and that are socially and economically, educationally backward. This amendment annulled the Supreme Court judgment of 11th May 2021, which had empowered only the central government for such identification. So OBCs can be identified by the state also. Latest one, you please remember the EWS, the GST 2017. Economically weaker section, EWS. This one you also remember, 2019. 103rd. And GST one was 101st, which was let's say annulled by the Supreme Court very recently, 99th for the NCAG. Alright, so these ones are important. So this was about today's lecture. Only these many amendments have been made. I'll provide you a list, notes and important highlights for the important ones, and this topic for you will be forever over. Topic is over. Alright, so you will have no confusion any further in any questions. So this is Yatharth here. Have an exceptionally bright day. I hope you enjoyed the lecture. If you have any comments, any suggestions, you can let me know. And please check our Telegram channel where you will find all the notes. Alright, thank you very much and have a good day.